Moscow, where the Kremlin has kicked off celebrations for Victory Day, a national holiday marking the defeat of Nazi Germany in World War II. But those celebrations were overshadowed by Russia's own war on Ukraine. Whilst Moscow holds its annual parade to showcase Russia's military might, several regions across the country scaled back events amid security concerns and a lack of military equipment. And in just the last hour, we heard from President Vladimir Putin. He said he wants a peaceful future and claimed the true war is being waged against his country.
Even as it marks Victory Day, or perhaps especially, Russia has not stopped its attacks on Ukraine. The Ukrainian Air Force says it intercepted 23 out of 25 cruise missiles, with an official in Kyiv saying 15 were destroyed over the city today. But more aid is headed to Ukraine ahead of a looming counter-offensive. The US is set to announce a $1.2 billion package as early as today, including drones, ammunition and air defence missiles. The package is geared towards the country's medium to long-term security needs.
So it's Claire Sebastian following all of this for us in London, and international diplomatic editor Nick Robertson is live in eastern Ukraine. Is there a sense of tension around this momentous day there, Nick? Let's go to Claire.
Yeah. Just while we're fixing those communication issues, as Max said, Claire, this is a momentous day in Russia. We also don't get to hear Vladimir Putin speak that often. So when he does, a lot of people are trying to extrapolate where his strategy might be heading or any hints that we can. What did you make of his speech?
I mean, it was barely 10 minutes long, and he squeezed in the normal lines that you hear in his stump speech, his justifications for the war in Ukraine. Interestingly, relatively small proportion of it actually spent referring to the Second World War, which this entire day is about. He said, look, the West is gunning for global supremacy. They want to destroy Russia. They're promoting Russophobia, all kinds of things that we're used to hearing about it, even down to, they're destroying family values, things that make you a human being. He even squeezed in what seemed to be one of his traditional denials of Ukrainian sovereignty. Take a listen.
The Ukrainian nation has become hostage to a coup which led to a criminal regime led by its Western masters. It has become a pawn to their cruel and selfish plans.
Ukraine is a pawn of the West. We've heard this from Putin before. Obviously, that makes Russia's setbacks in Ukraine a little less humiliating, given that Russia continues to refer to the West arming Ukraine and all of that. This comes, of course, just 6 days after several drones hit the Kremlin, just steps from where he was making that speech. There may have been a sort of veiled reference to the anxiety and insecurity in Russia around that at the top of the speech. He said, obviously, a true war has been unleashed against our motherland. Russia has repelled international terrorism. I think they do feel a sense of insecurity. Part of the justification, though, for the war in Ukraine all along has been that Russia is under siege. The West is trying to destroy Russia, and they are, in a sense, defending their own interests in Ukraine. But I think what you got from this speech is, A, nothing new, and B, a sense that he's just not backing down. He's going to continue to try to gloss over the setbacks in Ukraine, justify it before his people, and keep going with this fight.
OK, let's try speaking to Nick again. Nick, just describe the atmosphere on that side of the border as these commemorations are marked in Moscow.
Yeah, you can probably hear the air raid warning sirens going off right now. This is a common occurrence here. Everyone who lives in this area of eastern Ukraine is well used to it, and most people just sort of shrug and carry on, although there have been some heavy explosions not so far away after we heard an aircraft flying over. So I think, when you're in the east of Ukraine, you really see, and relatively close to Bakhmut, you really understand that this is a potential inflection point in this war, because the Ukrainians are watching every Russian move on this front line so closely, extra closely around the time of Victory Parade, because they know that Putin wants to score a success in Bakhmut, that they believe he'd like nothing better than to be able to say, and we've taken this city. Why? Because he has done so badly about taking any large Ukrainian city or town since the front lines effectively became frozen along here almost a year or so ago, a little more than a year ago, in the early stages of the war. And from the Russian perspective, they're watching so closely because they want to to see where and when and how the Ukrainians launch this much anticipated counteroffensive. So I think perhaps historically we'll be able to look back at this day and see how both sides have been able to evaluate what's gone on at the front line and therefore what their next moves are going to be. Is this the moment when the Ukrainians have watched what the Russians have done at this moment of high tension and then decide therefore about how they'll make their next moves in the counteroffensive, knowing that the counteroffensive is a complicated, protracted and psychological war with the Russians at times as well, sort of stringing out their supply lines, sapping troop morale, who are sort of all the time wondering when the big push is going to come. So here today, the expectation is that there could be quite heavy fighting along the front, and you can certainly hear those distant explosions. And as I say, fighter aircraft in the sky, bombs falling, that's what it sounds like. And of course, the air raid sirens going off. It's an up-tempo version of normal life here.
OK. Nick in eastern Ukraine, thank you. And Claire here in the studio.